How's it going, everyone? It's Liam Carson here. We're reacting to episode 8 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, it'll be sad with 2 episodes left to go after this. But it should be very, very intriguing to see what will happen. Scorpion is still at large, I guess, given the fact that Peter took his first L in regards to, characters he may have faced off against. And it was a really, really grueling battle as well when it came to Peter Spider-Man versus Scorpion, should I say. So, yeah, but thankfully Peter was saved by I can't exactly call it a familiar glider because this is a new iteration, but obviously Norman came to save Peter, sent out a glider, and that's obviously very synonymous with Norman's alter ego, the Green Goblin, who he has not become yet, but give it time, I guess. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to getting into this episode. So with that said, it is episode number 8 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1. Let's go. Peter, what are we doing? What are we doing? We all recognize that, that cover.
What is that?
He took a right beating, didn't he?
Has a target on his back from every law enforcement agency in the city.
Good luck to them!
He's the real threat. Always has been. And thanks to you, I found him.
Let's end this then.
You're in no shape.
I'm afraid that's not
Your
enough.
body says otherwise.
Despite it hurt again, but I'm afraid it will keep happening unless you push yourself to that higher level. If you're not willing to do that, then maybe our work together should end.
Oh,
Because
shoot.
That's the level I need Spider-Man at.
Just as your calculations predicted.
Yes, even I have to admit this is a bit of a breakthrough.
He's not going to give him his flowers.
Breakthrough, like breaking through a wall of wet tissue paper. You three
What
better
a
hope your
miserable
project matches
sod.
this level of
Demonstration, Dr. Connors. Mr. Osborn has me working on a special project.
Is that why they're turning this place into a zoo?
I actually don't know anything about that. Are you
Lizards.
sure you don't need any help from me? I'm afraid I'll never be strong enough to be who I'm supposed to.
You already are, Peter. And
Peter.
you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. Look, the world has
That's
put
it
you
though.
through
He
a
has
lot.
a lot of burden on his
Much is
shoulders.
changing that
He feels
it's okay to be
hopeless.
scared.
Well, I'm glad that I have you. I love you too, May.
Look, can I just get you to promise you won't try skateboarding ever again? Seems like you're really bad at it.
Cutting edge research.
You're
Damn
playing
it,
that game
Vincent.
again, aren't you?
Ah!
Just farming XP until
He's
developers
farming
actually
XP. Doc Ock is
Besides,
farming
I also
XP.
just finalized a deal to acquire a sampling of one of the.
Could bring you some leftover soup if you're hungry.
I won't decline that offer, but we have nothing more to say to one another.
I love this Doc Ock. Hi.
Vincent, that was quick.
Oh shit! Alright, now he's fully Doc Ock there, I guess. Oh shit!
Don't already know that?
Jesus, he's so camp, I love it! Oh my god! Hello? Stark?
You're busted, Bowl Cut. Iron Man to
Bowl
the
Cut.
rescue.
Someone called in the cavalry.
Holy damn! Loving the trauma with... Sounds cruel, but I am loving the trauma we're seeing Peter go through. Like, this isn't just your standard L. This is... Yeah. Big stuff.
I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Oh!
Pearl?
Yeah, hey, where are you? We need to finish our assignment for Mr. Taylor's class.
We do? Oh, right!
He's
right.
been a bit
I was
banged up.
running late, but she...
I don't even know anything it's used for.
Welding, actually.
You do a lot of welding?
No, just when I made my bracelets.
I think you need to grow your hair out if you want to be like a whole other world.
Oh, is this Lonnie?
Weird. You think Emma grew a conscience and decided to come help after all?
They were having a great moment, and now here we are.
You weren't answering your phone. I just came by to see how you... I'm being straight up with you right now. I need to see this through with them.
He owes
There's
it to
nothing
them.
more to say.
But...
If you go back, I want nothing to do with you.
Oh.
I understand.
Oh, shit.
Well-being. So I don't have the luxury of sitting around with Pearl and focusing on science homework like you. Look, I get what you're trying to do, but I gotta do this. So please don't get in my way.
It's tragic. It hurts, and you can't do anything. You just feel like he might get himself killed. Or the smiley face, or the sad face, smiley.
You just
Ben
deserve someone like him to talk to. Someone you trust.
I'll first look at Ben in the I guess the MCU, really. Or at least close enough.
Asked me to leave? I'm staying.
Oh, is that right? Sorry, he needs to get better at reading the room. There's something in your mind, isn't there? You don't run from power. You embrace it. Take it from me.
You have to go
With
all
great
out.
Power comes great respect. And if you don't have respect, you have nothing.
Oh, snap.
You need to give the world a reason to respect you.
Oh, snap. Oh, shit.
It's a pity that this is who I'm reduced to dealing with. Such inelegant...
Oh, Chameleon!
Oh, you're here? Why you look like a damn mummy?
Secrecy is for the best.
Chameleon!
A recent string of things here, so you should take whatever you get. This is where my crew was set to meet with Octavius, his so-called lab.
Oh, shit.
Don't bring that over here.
You want gear? That's where to get it.
Oh,
But move
no.
quickly. You've seen...
I mean, he has a point.
Oof.
Okay, you're not helping. Go back to shooting imaginary hoops.
No,
Oh, dirty there!
My dad has a lot of power. And he has a lot of respect. But he is not Spider-Man. You are.
You've got that capability.
What Spider-Man needs
So
to
you
do
need
should be up
to
you.
utilize said capability.
Shared a couple pics of those doodles you keep in your notebook.
Harry!
Harry.
I know, right?
Repeat, truck hijacking.
Oh, we're not going to see it until the next episode, are we? They're going to blue ballers.
Go get him, Tiger.
Nice. Whoa! Harry said the iconic "Go get him, Tiger." Let's ship. I even said in the last episode that maybe Harry is part of the LGBTQ plus spectrum and all of that, or yeah, but just based on the fact that, yeah, he might be on the LGBTQ plus side of things, just based on the fact that Nico wasn't really, well, he wasn't really. It seemed like Nico was trying to hope that Harry would make a move on her. I guess Harry wasn't. Yeah. So, yeah, Harry wasn't, I guess, entertained, really, so, but, yeah, or he might be straight, but, you know, he wants to play it low-key, like he doesn't want to commit to anything or whatnot, so, which is fine, but he said go get him, Tiger, so, I'll take it, the Peter and Harry ship. So, yeah. Yeah, Chameleon. Yeah. I don't know if that mask does anything exactly. But it's very iconic. So, and he has to conceal his face, of course. So, yeah. We even got a little bit of a lizard, like, not like as direct as, I guess, the arms for Otto and the mask for Dimitri, but it was just like that, as if it was like an Easter egg. Like, who brought these lizards here? So yeah, she's not utilizing the lizards as of yet in terms of experimenting and regrowing the arm and becoming lizard. So yeah, but yeah. I kind of like what they did in terms of, because you had the cover of it being very, very, very well known, I guess you could say, in terms of Spider-Man No More. But I really liked what they did with the whole Spider-Man No More in terms of like in terms of that kind of story. Without Peter out, like he was wanting to be Spider-Man again, but there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of worry that he might not be able to hack it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I honestly think that was probably my favorite episode so far. We got 2 episodes left. But in terms of what we've had so far, that's probably been my favorite. Just, it felt like a lot happened in such a short amount of time, and it was just really invigorating. Even, focusing on the 110 situation where they are, in cahoot. Well, they were talking to Chameleon. They were talking to Dimitri. In regards to where they can, try to take the fight to Scorpion, because their guns wouldn't do shit, and we all knew that anyway. It's like, oh yeah, you guys are not gonna, do great. So yeah, and of course there is that whole thing where Lonnie is just not listening to Pearl. He's just not listening to Peter. And I mean, it's sad because there is a bit of a you gotta think he's in this whole shit show anyways, because of Big Don, and yeah, he did take the fall for his brother, but he is so devoted to this gang, and he can't escape them. He can't abandon them, especially in a time of need against Scorpion and all of that. And you do worry that he's going to end up killing himself. But the problem is, it is kind of like a bit of an abusive situation. So, and it is just kind of heartbreaking, if anything. It's not like, oh, Lonnie, you're being a complete idiot. His mind's just twisted, and it's just sad. So, yeah, but I mean, it was just really, really heartbreaking. So, yeah. So, yeah, it was just really, really great stuff. But I really felt like this was a really impressive episode in terms of how they dealt with Peter's conflict. So, yeah, especially with how manipulative Norman was being. So, yeah. I mean, that's it though. Peter was a bit banged up and all of that, but that's what you always love to admire about Peter, is no matter how beat up he is, he will always want to stop the bad guys, because that's his responsibility at the end of the day, which is a very, very key word. So yeah, and we'll talk quite a bit about that in a moment, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just really, really insane to just see how there was that talk. I'd even go as far to compare what Norman said really to when that boat situation happened, I think it was, and how Tony lectured Spider-Man in the in Homecoming, about how if you're nothing without the suit and all of that. Yeah, so yeah, I'd even go as far to say that some of the conversations that Norman had in regards to that responsibility and all of that, in regards to Peter, that there does become parallels in terms of you're not ready for this because you're afraid to go, you're afraid to go above, or no, you're afraid to go beyond. I wanted to go with the whole My Hero Academia reference, but both Tony and Norman basically spelled it out for Peter in regards to the fact that I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready to be Spider-Man at this point. So, because of what Tony said about the fact that if you're nothing without the suit, you're not ready to be Spider-Man, basically. So, and it's kind of similar terrain to Norman in terms of you're not ready, especially if you're going to be crutching yourself. If you're going to be if you're not going to fully utilize who you're going to be, you're not ready to be Spider-Man. So yeah, so it is really, really interesting. And then we get that infamous twist, don't we? With great power comes great respect. Not responsibility, respect. It's such a dark and sinister, manipulative way of solidifying Norman's, I guess, hold on, or trying to solidify Norman's hold on to Spider-Man. Because that quote is very, very impactful for Peter. Well, the twisted quote, should I say, is going to be very powerful, and I can just see where things might go in regards to where things might go in terms of the end game for this season. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, we'll get onto that in a moment, just because I want to talk about like how obviously with Peter, the whole great power comes great responsibility bit, it's more seen in a positive light, isn't it? Because there is that whole idea of don't abuse this brilliant gift you might have, and and you should really be able to help people. That's who's, like, obviously Uncle Ben didn't know that Peter was Spider-Man and all of that, although he might do. I don't know, in this universe, who knows? No, but in all seriousness, well, he wouldn't do, would he? But no, in all seriousness, with the whole great power comes great responsibility, there is a more positive aspect to that line in terms of shaping the person of who you want to be. And it really, really fits into the idea of this episode really well, because of, again, Peter has this kind of inner conflict about him and his spider duties, and you got Norman benching him. I mean, again, it's understandable physically, but Peter's a never, I didn't hear no bell kind of character, so, you know. But again, there is a bit more of a manipulative essence in terms of, look, you're not ready for the big leagues. You're not, but the difference between him and Tony is that he's encouraging you need to utilize your great power because it will bring you great respect. There is a such darker tone in that whole with great power message, because of the fact that there is this idea of you need to utilize it whenever is best, and you need to utilize it to your fullest potential, and that can even indicate murder if needs be, because you need to fully utilize your powers. There's always this talk about Peter pulling his punches. You just think back to No Way Home. Now, there was that scene, of course I'm getting into spoiler territory, but it's been a few years, I guess, but still, skip ahead. I'll only mention it briefly, but Andrew Spidey talked about he stopped pulling his punches, so And that was a really, really horrific thing for him. Now, there is always this talk about Spider-Man pulling his punches when it comes to... Because he... Like, a lot of people do talk about how powerful Spider-Man can be if he went all out, if he didn't hold back. And that's a very, very important note in terms of the whole great power comes great responsibility and the great power comes great respect part. Because, again, you don't want to abuse your power. You want to be able to focus on the people. With great power comes great respect, it's kind of an opposite in terms of that message. And it works really, really well because of the fact that Norman is basically saying, look, if you need to kill, do so. I'm not saying just be a killer or whatever, but you need to stop holding back. And if you end up knocking the guy's head off because of the fact that you wanted to because you needed to not hold back anymore, then that's their problem. So, yeah. There is a darker and that's why I'm worried that in the finale we are probably going to see kind of a similar thing to the final, I guess, or the conclusion of the final battle to No Way Home. Funnily enough, involving the Goblin Glider, if you know, you know. No, because Peter was willing to kill in that moment. Of course, there was a bit more of a difference in that essence because Peter was so consumed by revenge. But this is, again, with the whole great power comes great insert blank here message, there is always a bit of a hold on to Spider. It's kind of like that message latches onto Spider-Man's head. And it's usually obviously great power comes great responsibility, but you do worry that that message of great power comes great respect is going to kind of twist Peter into a darker direction, if that makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if this rematch between Peter and Scorpion's absolutely going to get annihilated and he's going to end up, he's going to end up, well, I wouldn't say in the hospital, but he's going to end up wanting to tap out because he's worried that Peter's going to absolutely murder him. And that's the direction it might go if Peter is going to subscribe to this attachment of great of the whole great power comes great respect line. So yeah, Norman's telling him stop pulling your punches because as long as you need to embrace that full potential, because otherwise you're back in the hospital again. You need to embrace that full potential because otherwise your enemies are not going to get knocked down. So you have a gift. And you need to use it in order to unlock the fullest potential as a hero. And that means utilizing your full power. So, yeah. And it's just, see how dark it is? So, yeah. But it's just so, it's just so tantalizing. So, and it's very, very apt as well that message and how they twisted Uncle Ben's saying. Well, it's funny actually, before I do go into how apt it is in terms of seeing Uncle Ben for the first time, it wasn't even Uncle Ben's message in the MCU because we know that May said it to Peter because we never got to see Uncle Ben in the MCU. I mentioned it the other episode that there's always this big mystery about, okay, what does Uncle Ben look like? Because we never seen him in the MCU and he's never said that message. So May was the one that delivered it. So, yeah. And I think the closest we got to the whole with great power comes great responsibility was I think the closest we got to with great power comes great responsibility was when Peter talked to Tony in Civil War about when you can do the things that I can, but you don't. Then the bad things happen because of you. I think that's the closest we got to, great power comes great responsibility. But yeah, we saw Ben. We saw a picture of Ben, and I know that doesn't automatically mean, well, he kind of looks like that in the MCU, but it kind of does in my mind, because again, this is a deviation. This is kind of like a pivot into another direction of the MCU. Civil War still happened. Everything that is happening from Civil War's point of view onwards, it still happens, really, in terms of some of the characters. Steve is still on the run, they are saying. Like, give it a few, I guess, seasons, maybe? I don't know. The Thanos snap is still gonna happen. So, yeah. It's just a little pivot in another direction, I would say, in terms of these series of events. So these characters, May still looks like what May does in the MCU. So yeah. And that's probably our first glimpse, maybe our only glimpse, of what Ben kind of looks like in terms of his MCU counterpart. So yeah, but it's very apt that we had that with this episode containing the whole twist of Uncle Ben's famous quote. So, yeah. So interesting stuff, isn't it? And even like Harry saying, "Go get him, Tiger," is such a mesmerizing thing, because that's what MJ says. In a lot of incarnations of Spider-Man, that's an MJ thing. So, and like I said, I even debated about the prospect that Harry might be on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, because of the fact that I think that for me, I saw Nico hoping that Harry would take a bit of a shine to her. I'm not entirely sure, but it kind of felt like they were trying to go that way, but Harry wasn't, interested. So, and now that's furthered by, like, Harry might have a thing for Peter, and I wouldn't mind that. Especially for Peter himself, like, put Peter on the LGBTQ plus, spectrum. Just do it. Just do it. Come on. And it's Pride Month as well, for crying out loud. I know it wasn't when this came out, but as of recording, yeah. So, but yeah. I also do feel like that whole, I know I have been talking on about it quite a bit, but you got to remember, the great power comes great blank. That's a very important thing when it comes to the Spider-Man lore and all of that. As I've mentioned, it kind of shapes the person who Spider-Man is. Again, I still feel like Peter's going to go a little bit too far, but I think he's going to realize that something is off. And, like, especially you tapping into the whole great power comes great respect. Something is a little off. He's even heard Daredevil mention it in terms of there's something shifty going on. So I feel like he might get a little bit overzealous. And then that's when something snaps. Because, Peter, Spider-Man is still a kind, heroic, considerate character at heart. Yes, the whole I mentioned about the great power comes great respect part. It does kind of have a little bit of a hold on the character, but that doesn't mean that, okay, well, they're destined to go down this dark path, or there's no way they can turn, they can completely be on the light. So, as I said, I think it's going to nudge Peter in a direction where he's absolutely going to decimate Scorpion, but there's still going to be that Peter Parker spirit that's going to hold him back from killing Scorpion. Because again, Spider-Man is capable of murder. He is absolutely capable of destroying. I just think back to when he absolutely brutalized Kingpin. because he didn't hold back. He absolutely made someone so intimidating look absolutely weak because of how he didn't hold back. That's a thing that was done in the comics, I believe. Yeah, Peter's capable of not holding back, and it can be very disastrous. And I think we might get a little glimpse of that, but Peter will rein it in, remembering who he is. So, yeah. It was also great to see Doc Ock. Iron Man cameo was great, but Doc Ock, I mean, surely we're going to see more of him in the future, right? He was apprehended by Ross and his people, but I just loved how campy he was. Like, even to Vincent as well. Like, are you playing a game? Look, I'm farming. Doc Ock farming for XP. What a sentence, right? So, but even the way he just dealt with Ross's, with that SWAT team and all of that was just like he put some extra flair into it. So, yeah, it was just really amazing. So, yeah. But, yeah, again, probably my favorite episode so far of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It was just really incredible. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah. Especially the dark twist on with great power comes great respect. So, yeah. Because that's it, though. It's gonna, like, no, it's gonna try and, yeah. It's a twisted way. It's manipulative. It's cruel from Norman. It's got the Osborn touch, and it's so great because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how again, it's a very amazing take in terms of, well, Norman trying to twist Spider-Man into a crueler kind of character. So. And it's like, it feels weird and it's great because we are all used to, with great power comes great responsibility, and it's so eerie and it doesn't feel right, but it's not supposed to feel right because it isn't right. So, yeah. But yeah, great episode. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!